All right, friends, we're getting ready to multiply fractional amounts. And so this week, you're learning some new things that you might not have thought about in terms of multiplying amounts. We're going to find out that when we multiply by fractions, you'll end up with a smaller denominator often. Anyway, and we're not used to that, right? That's a little bit different, but it makes completely good sense, doesn't it? You probably did a number talk with your coach like this. 1/2 of 6, and I bet all of you got 3, didn't you? But how did you figure that out? Let's analyze how we figured it out so we can use that same skill when the problems get harder. So you thought, well, there's 6. You kind of probably had 6 in your mind, right? And you thought, well, what's 1/2 of it? And you may in your mind, even if I guess if I was going to draw a model of it, I might draw that. If I had 6 and I was trying to see what half of it was, I would divide it into 2 parts. 1/2 of 6. 1/4 or 1/4 of 24. Again, maybe you were like 24 divided by 4. Maybe you just divided it into 4 equal parts. Or you had a model. Let's just do the same model. 6, 6, 6, 6. So there's 24 divided into 4 parts, right? So if you wanted to know what 1/4 of them was, I would say it's 6. 1/2 of them are 3. How about 1/3 of 12? Again, I'm going to take the 12. That's where I'm really starting, right? I'm starting with the 12, and then I'm thinking, well, what's 1/3 of that amount? Even though I'm going to read it, what's 1/3 of 12? I'm still going to start with this number here, right? And what we want to know is that when you see the word, when we're multiplying fractions, we're working with fractional amounts. When you see of, you can replace multiplying. I know, right? But it's 1/3 of 12. You'll read it, what's 1/3 times 12? But that just means of. When it was whole numbers, this symbol meant groups of. What is 3 groups of 4? 12. But this is 1/3 of 12. If you can remember that the multiplication symbol, you want to say the word of in your mind, you will be way ahead of the game. So it's 1/3 of 12. Well, 12, I would have some kind of model, or in my mind, I'd think of 12, divide it into 3 parts and see how much one of them was, right? So how about when there's fractions of a fraction? And that's where we're headed, or multiplication with fractions. And I think I might go ahead and write this up high so it's not slanted. What if you had 1/2 of 2/3? Well, if we want to take the same strategy that we've been using when it was a fraction of a whole number, let's do the same thing. Let's get 2/3. I'm going to make a model of 2/3. Again, models just help us think about amounts. That is not a perfect model, is it? But it helps me visualize what's going on. And it's so imperfect, I've got to switch it just a little bit. Anyway, 2/3. So I'm first going to record, okay, I got my 2/3. Now I want to know what 1/2 of that amount is. So I'd probably take my 2/3 and I'd divide it into 2 parts, right? So how many is in half of 2/3? Well, I'm seeing automatically that I have a new denominator. If I wanted to name, I see there's 6 something. 6 what? I see that I created a new denominator, haven't I? So whenever I've created a new denominator, I always stop and think, okay, what is that called? What's the name of that denominator? What's the unit? And those are 6ths, right? So what's 1/2 of 2/3? How many 6ths is that going to be? 2 6ths. There's half. And on this half, one of this half sections, I only see 2 of them colored in. So 1/2 of 2/3 is 2 6ths. And stay with me here. Draw your models. Reason through what's really happening, because it's going to get a whole lot easier, but you want to know what you're doing. So lots of models, lots of thinking through what's happening. And in this, that's the exact same problem that we just solved. think about that as you're running into some multiplying of fractional amounts.